この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am here for Sora no Woto, episode 10 no Woto, which doesn't work at all. Still, shit, I gotta stop doing that. Last week's episode was pretty fun. It dealt with the, I guess we could call it a bit of redemption, maybe, for Klaus, the old man, the old coward who proved that he is anything but, and proved himself worthy of Kureha's respect and admiration, despite it being originally misplaced, as he is not Miracle Kraus, nor is he the Desert Wolf. He just kind of looks like him and has the same name. But he proved himself real well in multiple ways over the course of a very, very difficult typhoon-filled evening situation. It was pretty fucking cool. I liked the episode a lot. It showed us some depth to Kureha that I didn't really expect, and I'm very glad to have seen. And altogether worked as a very touching, well-done character study of both characters, I would say. I thought it was very nice. Next up, I don't really know. I assume that it's going to be some Rio stuff. I assume that because Rio got a phone call and she's been kind of just, like, in complete emotional turmoil over what she heard on the phone there. And there was something about this episode that was like departure or something. So I'm going to assume that whatever it is, she's going to feel the need to, like, the call of duty. Wait. That wasn't intentional. But seriously, she's gonna feel something and probably decide to go. If we can spend some time getting some more information about, like, the history and who Ilya is and who she was to Rio and all that stuff, and confirm some of the things that we're pretty darn sure of, that would be really great. Otherwise, I got no expectations for this episode. It could be that we, like, stay away from main plot stuff for the majority of the episode and then just have, like, an inkling of it at the very end, exactly like we did with the phone call thing, and just have sort of a normal episode of Sora no Woto. Or it could be gung-ho, let's go, we're in the finale zone now, let's do this thing. I don't really know. And I don't know what that finale zone is going to look like at all. So let's go ahead and watch us some Sora no Woto episode 10 and see what the hell is going to happen. I've got the episode up. It's ready to go. There will be two versions, picture-in-picture version in the description, timer-based version up on YouTube. You want to do a synchy thing? You can do a synchy thing. Just get your synchy copy ready to do the synchy thing, because the beep beep timer for your synchy thing purposes will be coming at you right now. A little bit too full. Smoke? What are we burning? Oh, is that the letter? Yikes. Jinkies. Who'd that be? Kanata be? Kureha be? What is that? Oh, are those fucking legs for Spider Tank Boy? By the way, if you hear a baby crying in the background, that's because there's a baby on the loose, just letting you know. I can't really control it. Ooh. Garbage toasted yams. Delightful. Hey, guess who's gotten a lot better? Makes sense. True. Is that the old lady? No, it's a different old lady. It might be the old lady. Yeah. I mean, you might. That doesn't mean that this won't be the last year. Whatever. I feel you, old timer. You do what you need to do. Departure when the snow first falls. All right. All right. Hey, wow, we found all the parts. I mean, almost. Of course. Surezies. Memories. Ooh, ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. What should? I don't believe you. Nice bed. Harp? What? Oh, okay, she took it. That makes sense. Was she? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. Did she now? No, but that was 2 years ago, so. Hiya. Who died? Who's that? Ah. Duty calls. Oof. Not for a political marriage. Yeah, that's usual. That's the norm. And how did she pass away? So that's why things might have been different. Because she was the seal. Oh, nice little cottage place. Looks like half the houses in Santa Barbara. Who'd that be? Oh, hi, lady. Wow, she is building her fucking house. Hot damn, lady. This is a nice place. This is relevant, isn't it? She has been ordered to come and marry somebody, hasn't she? Yeah, you did. Yeah, lady. Uh-oh. Uh-huh. Oh, no. That person? Uh-huh. I feel like your son isn't alive, dude friend. Oh, hi, Mom. Ruh-roh. Ruh-roh. Oh, here goes Rio's temper. Garbage truck. Yeah, little glare. Little bit, yeah. Whew. That's a barbed comment. Yeah, very true, Felicia. Uh-huh. Ah. She wants advice, dude. Also, the fact that there's a Roman emperor is like, what? Okay, the Roman Empire is on the move. Uh-oh. Ah. Hey. Thanks, dude. Hmm. Tell us more. Oh, that's Martin. Did she now? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Don't say who she is. Is that you? That's you. Hiya! Uh-huh. You mean a little talk? Yes. Tell us everything, Rio. Okay. Thanks. Gotta admit, all the background detail is still fantastic. Even though we're doing a bunch of still frames. Hmm. Yeah, she was. Yeah, you did. Mm-hmm. I died for it. Nice. That's a big stab in the heart to the people who value this place. Yeah. This place is valuable. Yes, you do. Oh. 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 That's a real optimistic outlook. And one that fails upon closer... Okay, whatever. Closer inspection. It's just pure optimism. Jingle jangle! Yeah. Bling! But she already knew that, right? Kindling. Oh, not for kindling. Yeah. I'm a daughter without a mother, and you're a mother without a son. Ah. Watching someone wait for someone who isn't coming. Rubbing her ring finger. So you choose to believe the promise. She says she is. So she's a bastard. From an inexcusable romance? Adultery? Must be. So of course she wasn't accepted by the real Archduke. Huh. You being him? We just flashback? Yeah. Yeah. Grayscale we go. Madam had a body. I'm sorry. Ding! What? Okay. Cool. 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 Ah, shit. Oh. Oh, shit. Lol, no. Not real. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. She die there? Did she just die? Oh, she ran out into the fucking snow. Poof. So we go with that same line from the the priest before? Hmm. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows that Kanata ever met her. Uh-huh. That smile, again. Yep. BT dubs, she saved me when I was in the dumps. Amazing Grace? With an accompaniment. Okay. Pretty normal. Tell her, tell her, tell her, tell her, tell her, tell her. Hmm. Fate and stuff, dead ends and stuff. It all comes around and stuff. Ooh, gift given? Sure. And now you're leaving. But we don't know why. Hmm. Hmm. What a gift. Bringing it all back around. The best. The bestest senpai. The most E. Title drop. Is that the end of the episode? That one went fast. But not because it was snappily paced. I just don't know why it went fast. I'm not sure if I like this episode. It's fine. I'm not sure if I like it. A little bit iffy. Burning snow? How does a snowfield burn? I don't know. That's interesting. Okay, give me a sec to fix my window, because it's way too bright. Okay, just slightly better. Slightly better. This is an interesting episode. It's a weird one, I think. It's very slow-paced. And I'm not sure if I completely grok how the two plots interact. Mostly because we just don't have the info that I think we need on Ryo's mother. I think that there's a parallel intended to be drawn between, like, Ryo disrespected her mother for waiting for someone who would never come, and then sort of learns to forgive her because she realizes that, like, this older woman, whose name just escaped me, her mother was happy waiting for him regardless, and we could say in part, well, it's also a different situation because Ryo stayed with her mom, right, until she died. Ryo was there with her. So, like, maybe she was ostracized for being born out of wedlock or as a child of adultery, which seems to be the implied thing, but it's not entirely clear, which makes sense that somebody wouldn't necessarily elaborate on their own, like, their own birth. But I don't quite understand what's going on there. Like, the situation with this woman is that she fell in love with a dude, and then he already had a family, which he seemed to not have told her about, and then took her child and raised it as his own, which it was, but his and his family's own, and then made a false promise to come back, and she's okay with that? I don't know if I feel that. I don't know if I'm vibing with that at all. I don't quite understand that part of the storyline. And then, because I don't understand that part of the storyline, and because we have very little information on Mom, Ryo's mom, like, we know that she's half-sisters with Ilya, which we can assume is maternal half-sisters? So Ilya is the genuine daughter of the Duke and the Duke's wife or consort. And then Ryo is the daughter of the Duke's consort / empress, whatever she is, we don't know, and some rando. Okay. Okay. I mean, obviously this is intended to be an emotionally resonant, which it is to some extent, in that the bond between Kanata and Ryo is strong, episode. But I think it's weakened on that front in multiple ways. Multiple ways. One being that the B plot, while it seems to have some things that parallel and lean into the A plot, I don't get them. So maybe that's on me and not on the episode, or on the amount of information that we've been given up to this point. Maybe we're not supposed to understand at this point. I feel like we are. Doesn't feel like we've had this kind of a lack of clarity up until this point, but okay. And then I think it's significantly weakened by the montage segment as Kanata and Rio wander the town. All of the detailed backgrounds notwithstanding, the fact that all of those sections are montaged through still frames with the voice acting is a little whack. It's a little wiggity wonky for me. I don't quite love that. I don't mean to be down on this episode this much. I just don't feel up on this episode very much. I mean, animation and art style wise, as usual with this show, all of the backgrounds look great, almost, and most of the characters look meh most of the time, which is pretty much what I expect from Sora no Woto. It's not my favorite in terms of animation quality or anything, but it's never jumped to like these two characters interacting, having a walk in conversations and stuff, and it's just literally all still frames. Like, what? It's done for effect, but it's not effective. Why? What this feels like to me is like we're just doing a really overdue exposition dump in terms of what characters feel and who they are and what they're all about. And we're trying to just like throw it at the audience real quickly so that what comes next makes sense. This feels underplanned, I would say. I don't know. This is a weak transition into a finale segment. Like, we knew we were transitioning into finale segment, right? What we need for that is information on where Rio came from, where Rio's going, why she's been called there, what the situation is with the Roman Empire. Apparently they're moving. Great. So there are some bits and pieces here that are, like, enough, but they're really not enough. If we want this to build suspense for Rio's eventual journey, whether we follow her, like, perspective-wise or not, or just discover what she's up to from the perspective of Kanata and everyone else, and as she has left the Bastion, things start to go wrong, maybe, I don't know. But, like, to get suspense for that, we need information on that, otherwise we don't know what's happening. So, like, what? This is a little wiggity wonkety. I don't really know. I'm gonna go look up staff and stuff. See you in a sec. Okay, storyboard, Yumi Kamakura. Done a lot of things. Storyboard for Haikyuu and stuff, Zuma 11. Lots of sports shows. Like, a lot of sports shows. Okay, cool. And then directed by Jiro Fujimoto, AD Police. He's been in the industry for a while. Episode direction on an episode of Blood Blockade Battlefront. Bunch of episodes and storyboards and direction and stuff on JoJo's, of all things. Phantom Blood, Diamond, Golden Wind, Stardust, like all of them. So that's something. Worked on an episode of Kaze no Stigma, bunch of stuff. Nothing that would like make me understand why this episode feels so. I don't know. I don't know what the word would be for the way that I feel about this episode. Stilted, perhaps? Stilted. Like, it doesn't really know what it's trying to say until we get to the end sequence with Kanata and Rio, and then it's like this whole sequence is really solid. They play together. They reveal their secrets of a sort to each other, that Kanata met Ilya at some point, that Rio is her sister, etc. Yippee dippy doo, which is great. And then all of this leads to I would call it the emotional climax of the episode, which is Kanata's perspective shift. Like, she holds a different, more optimistic perspective than Rio does, that says that instead of this being a dead end, it's like a positive fate, which is really thin and highly optimistic. It's a way of justifying anything good in your life, and like saying that anything bad is the equivalent of it's all God's plan, which really irks me, and I'm not okay with that as like a lesson. I am okay with it as like, Rio, you found a place where you belong by your wandering. Your perspective makes it seem like a dead end, and that's leading to your depression, but the truth is that this is the place where you belong and where you needed to be, and you met people and influenced them in positive ways, so this is what you're meant for. This is great. But then that flies in the face of Rio's eventual decision to leave, and what? Regardless, it's a good moment when we get to that moment over... Oh, it's a different conversation? Yeah, it's a different conversation. Okay, this is just a dead end. That's not true. I often lose my way. Turn that around. I like getting lost. This is very cute. This is nice. And that's just fine, isn't it? Lose your way or hit a dead end. It's all good. Because it brought you here. Aww. Right. Make me jealous of you at times, Kanata. Your naivete and optimism is a very powerful weapon. Swing it wisely. Yeah, sure. Okay. I mean, yeah, okay. It's at this point that she realizes that they are one and the same, sort of. Okay, I've been pretty down on this episode. There are some things in this episode that I think are really good. There's some, like, subtextual stuff that I think is extremely strong. For example, the moment where the old woman is rubbing at the place on her ring finger where a ring would be. That's pretty something. Little things like that are pretty great. And then we get this attempt at character acting, which I think is really not. Where we get like a boisterous kind of flamboyant-y Rio who's mad about all this shit. Where was that? I forget where that is. Ah, here. This. I like the old lady. I like that we finally get the moment when the old lady is like, I don't need earplugs because Kanata's playing is getting better. But unfortunately, the biggest feeling that I get is in an episode that's supposed to be like a core shift in the whole storyline. One of our core characters is leaving. Rio is taking off. She's also dealing with the things that have been set up all the way up to this point from the beginning. The relationship with Ilya, her relationship with her mother, her fear of various things. Even the fact that it's implied that Ilya probably died trying to save a child who was drowning in a river, and it's quite possible that Rio's like dislike of children comes from blaming that child for that situation, right? Like the perfect princess Ilya, who was her idol and god, died to save a worthless orphan child, right? Oh, how dare she? How dare that child put her in that position, you know? It's nonsensical, but it's the kind of blame game that people play. That stuff is cool. But in an episode that should be a massive emotional shift for Rio as a character and an important like passing of the baton to Kanata, because in a sense, that's exactly what's been done. The trumpet passed from Ilya to Rio and is now being passed to Kanata. This is a recognition of her playing prowess, a recognition of her skill, of her dedication, and essentially saying, like, you are the one who carries the torch. But in an episode, in a show that's about resonance, this episode doesn't resonate with me. Maybe that's on me. Maybe there's something broken in the tuning fork of my heart that prevents it from resonating, but I don't think so. Not when so many other shows that have the same like stated purpose, Symphogear, do resonate with me and tell simpler stories, I would say, in a more resonant way. I don't know about this episode. I'm a little bit displeased with it. I don't dislike it. I just don't love it, and I want to. I want for this core episode of an emotional climax for Rio as a character who we haven't known enough about to really resonate with. I wanted to, and I don't. Maybe that's on me. Now, the B plot is pretty beautifully done, but again, I don't know if it interacts as intended with the A plot. The B plot of this older woman who has chosen to wait effectively the tale of the fisherman's wife, right? Like the woman who always waits looking out at the sea waiting for her husband to come home. Except that it's not her husband, it's a dude that she fell in love with who already had a family and then stole her child to go and make his life better. I mean, I thought we were going to get some kind of cool reunion like, "Oh, actually Kraus is your son." Whoa, who knew? But no, instead she just has a dreamy meme and then, like, runs out into the snow and disappears and dies. Her choice being made, sure, but she chooses to live in a fantasy and in a dream instead of in reality, which is kind of the opposite of what Rio is forced to do in this situation. She's forced to live in reality as opposed to a fantasy and dream. Okay. A little weird. Now, we still don't know why she's been called away. We can assume pretty strongly that it is for an arranged marriage, right? Because we get all the comments about things would be different if Ilya was still alive, which is implied not just that she would have, like, won the war or something, but that she would have been able to marry the Roman emperor, and then things would be fine. So, it seems like that's the reason why we need Rio back at the capital, I assume, because we need to use her as a bargaining chip. I don't like that situation very much. We'll see if that comes to bear, or if this ends up being a save Rio from the evilness of the country sort of situation. Otherwise, it ends up being a Rio sacrifices her autonomy for the country situation, and I'm not sure about that as a storyline. This is a weird episode. I don't know about it. Okay. I don't know what else to say about this one either. The things that stand out to me most in this episode are the negatives. There are a bunch of little good things, though, like burning the letter up and putting on a brave face. The setup that we're going to have the Mikazuchi, whatever it is, we're gonna have it in working order probably by climactic finale, which seems like a solid setup and what we would expect, and probably is going to be of great use. Question being whether we will use it for its tanky purposes or for its musical resonance purposes, unknown. Depressed Rio is a nice mood, but it's a really simple mood to convey. She's laying in bed and ignoring all everything until Kanata is like, "Hey, hey, hey, there's shit going on. Hey, hey," yada yada. That we see that the owl was there before is fun. That she uses the hatchet incorrectly is something, I don't really know. The little discussion with Martin and the situation with the coins, and he always makes the joke about it being like 1,000,000 yen instead of not, are fun. But then we get this whole sequence where the backgrounds are really pretty, but they're the same backgrounds that have been used up until this point, and they're reusable. And instead of actually animating our characters through them, they're just static because they're just static, which kind of doesn't work for me. I like the moments where we hover on specific elements of the environment that we've hovered on before, because they, they tell us about duty and servant and sacrifice of individuals and all that stuff from the original story of the Servants of the Fire or whatever they were called. But eh, eh. And then I don't feel like we have enough context to understand why Rio ends up staying here for the night, except that she feels... I mean, I said it during the thing, we're dealing with a mother without a son and a daughter without a mother, finding a bit of companionship. But then that leads into dream sequence. Old lady was a total hottie, and then some, like, odd sexual encounter, and then he just leaves with her child, and then she falls asleep and runs outside into the snow and dies. I don't know what to glean from this. I don't know what to get from this. It just exists. I also like the moment where Felicia is shocked as they're looking for information on Princess Ilya, a secret that she's obviously held for a good long time, which is pretty cool. This is a weird episode. I think it's a weak episode. I'm sorry if that's a disappointing take for this one. I want to like it more than I do, but I don't like it as much as I want to. It's unfortunate. Okay. Well, so be it. Next up, Rio's leaving. I definitely wonder if we're going to return to her perspective at any point, or if we're going to just have news filtering in via Kraus and couriers and gossip and stuff about what's going on, and whether that will somehow spark some sort of climax. All in all, it feels like the amount of information that was in this episode could be compacted down to about 5 minutes, and the rest doesn't matter much, and wasn't interesting or fun enough to make a case for its own existence. It's a little sad. I don't like this episode. I'm sorry. I shouldn't apologize for just stating my opinion on the episode. I don't think it's a bad episode necessarily. I just don't like it. It doesn't resonate with me. Darn. Except for the Kanata lines, which do resonate, but also they're really weak for a primary core motivation shift for a major character like Rio. I don't know, but all right, I'm just sort of vacillating at this point and flubbity-dubbiting. That's not a word, but it doesn't really matter. I think it gets the point across. Vacillating is a really good word for this, I think. Let me look up the definition of vacillating so that I can use it properly in the future. Vacillate. I'm pretty sure that it's exactly what I need. Vacillate. Alternate or waver between different opinions or actions, be indecisive. Yeah, sort of. I think dither is probably better because it's like to dally and to, yeah. Teeter, fluctuate, hesitate, falter, waver, vacillate. Sure, yeah, I think vacillate works. Yeah. Darn. Okay, I'm gonna wrap. I've been Teeaboo. This has been Sora no Woto episode 10. I really do hope that you've enjoyed it more than I have. If this resonates with you in a specific way, or if you understand something about this episode that I am clearly missing from your perspective, which is quite valid and quite possible, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear opinions from people who like this episode more than I seem to. I think that would be really valuable. If you do agree that this episode is weak, then you could let me know that as well, because, you know, affirmation is nice, but that's not what I'm really looking for. I'm looking for understanding of this one, and if you really vibed with this one, let me know. If you didn't, and I'm touching on why in some way, but not fully explaining why, because I don't feel like I'm fully explaining why I don't resonate with this episode, it's much easier for me to pick out either things that are distinctly poor decisions, like, hey, look, there's a montage sequence, why is that there? That weakens the impact of this emotional conversation that we're having. Or to point out things that I do like, which are like, oh, the fact that the old woman rubs at her ring finger tells us some information about her. And we can assume that because of the story that she tells, she was pining for the possibility of that ring, not for the ring that was once there, right? It's much easier to do that than it is to pick out, like, this didn't work for me, why? I can go through and point out all the things that I didn't necessarily like, but those aren't the reasons why it didn't work. Something I have to think about in terms of how I approach these discussions. And I will. Regardless, I'm going to wrap. I've been Teeaboo. This has been Sora no Woto episode 10. I really do hope that you've enjoyed it more than I have. And let me know about that in the comments. I'll catch you next week for episode 11. Okay? See you there. Peace.